Hi, welcome back to Alex Talking, and I just saw Nobody 2 at the AMC Savannah 11 after work, and if you can hear that down there, that's Peaches the cat scratching away at her little scratching post. I've got to say, the first Nobody, it came out the same day as Godzilla vs. Kong in 2021 March, a year post-pandemic, or not post-pandemic, but a year after the pandemic really hit. And it was a real nice surprise, especially with how bad Godzilla vs. Kong was. My friends and I really gravitated to Nobody and enjoyed it. One of the first R rated movies we were able to take ourselves to after turning 17. It just became a nice movie in our friend group. And we watched it a lot. I just watched it again for the fifth time with my fiance, show it to her in anticipation of this new film. I've been walking out of the trailers for the new film because I was like, wow, Nobody 2 is getting a sequel, and it comes out in 3 weeks. That was the first time I saw the trailer for it. It only played for the last 3 weeks of movies, but I was like, if it comes out in 3 weeks, I'll run out. I've been really looking forward to this, and I'm glad to know it's a real movie that exists and is coming out. But I'd like to go in blind and just enjoy it because I enjoyed the first one so much. And I really wish I'd watched the trailers because, and even then, I'd been told this was a summer road trip action movie, and I thought that sounded awesome. That's what they set up at the end of the first one. I thought this was a dreadful disappointment and insufferable in like 89-minute runtime. It is so poorly done, so poorly directed, with action that at times is fun, at times is like, hey, at least they're doing silly stuff, but then, we're going to play an annoying song and it's going to look like horrible CGI. There's some CGI in the first one, but it's a lot of really good practical action. This movie throws that out the window. It doesn't care. It doesn't bother. And it really suffers because of so. Because with the action gone, you would hope anything else would be good. And everything else is actually worse in terms of, compared to the first one, even than the drop-off action was. The dialogue, the script, the actual story at hand here is so shockingly bad that you have to wonder how it took 4 years to do this. Between this and Love Hurts, it is a brutal year for 87 North. I used to, tell people, hey, 87 North is like the Blumhouse of action. I'm not dissing them for any reason other than the fact they released two really, really bad movies this year. But and I say that positively because like Blumhouse has a good reputation to a lot of people in horror, and they at least produce films. I'm like, hey, 87 North produces action movies, gives young action filmmakers a budget, a solid, modest budget, makes solid, modest budgeted action movies, and they're at worst okay, kind of generic. This is like bad generic. This is taking the format of the first Nobody and giving it a different font. Has all the same different ideas and gags and like, hey, what makes a Nobody movie? It's him getting big dogged and then walking back in and doing the fight, and it's his daughter having a kitty cat, or in the case of this one, some different animal, and it getting broken, and it doesn't work. I have a hard time thinking anybody who actually really likes the first one, and I guess appreciates it to the level I do, is thinking, hey, that's one of the best action movies of the 2020s, one of the best action movies of its decade. If you think that highly of it, I have a hard time thinking anyone would not be severely disappointed by this, because it is just such a, I wouldn't say no effort, but low effort, definitely low effort sequel that I guess took this long to make because they just finally got around to giving it a budget and thinking that it might make some money because it might have a recognizable name, but it is just not at all what you would hope for from a sequel to this, or even a road trip action movie, because you barely get any of that. And it is just so undercut by contrived circumstances and bad emotional writing and just situations that feel so forced, and there's just nothing to hold on to. So I thought this was a movie with very little positives to glean. There's an action sequence in an arcade about midway through that was solid. John Ortiz is in Silver Linings Playbook. Shout out him. Not good in this movie, but he's at least in a better movie. Sharon Stone is giving a insane performance as the villain. They brought back Kevin Bernhardt as a different goon. He is a thug in the first movie on the bus, and he comes back and is a top thug to Sharon Stone. Appreciated that. I like that stunt performer. But, man, it was bad. I never would have thought this would be as bad as it was. Never would have ever guessed that. Just because of how genuinely fun, fresh. Not that it's extremely creative or original, just fun and fresh and slightly different enough. The first one was. I never would have guessed that they would run out of steam so quickly. And it's one of those examples, a good sequel could have been made. This isn't the example of, this is an original film that they ruined by making a sequel. This is an original film that they made a sequel to that I'll never think about. And when I watch the original, I'll think, oh, they made a really bad, forgettable sequel. I don't even acknowledge it. This is one of the best examples of a sequel done wrong in recent years. Just so generic and forgettable. This isn't a 1-star movie. This isn't a half-star movie. I'd give this movie a 2.3 out of 5. But no more than that. I couldn't even imagine giving anything more than that. And like I said, I hope you liked it. Let me know if you thought it was good. I guess it's getting decent reviews. But actual fans of Nobody, it was nice to have Hutch back. But even if you're like, I'm here for Christopher Lloyd and the RZA, I love the RZA. I love Christopher Lloyd. They get their one scene, just like in the first one. I always got this pitched to me as Hutch is back, and this time he's bringing Grandpa and his brother, but it's just one scene, just like in the original. There's so much ADR, there's so much CGI, and bad CGI, and it just feels so half-cocked. And especially having to wait 4 years for it, I didn't expect that, and I'm severely disappointed by it. So while it's not the worst thing I've seen all year, it's definitely right there for being the most disappointing movie I've seen all year. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see Eli Roth presents Jimmy and Stiggs in Americana and Highest to Lowest all sometime this weekend. I'm in Savannah, Georgia right now, but I will be heading up the coast tomorrow to get to Charlotte to see a friend, probably see some movies with him, and then go to Pittsburgh to visit some family for some nice, much-needed rest. So I'll see all that stuff along the way and hopefully do videos on them as I come. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought of Nobody too. Have a great day and God bless.